Elephant shrews neither belong to rodents nor to insectivores, but are their own group inside mammals. They go alone for foraging, but normally live in monogamous pairs, like here this round-eared elephant shrew. Up in the hills there's another species of elephant shrew, as one can immediately see by the form of the ears. It is the rock elephant shrew. White stripes in the rocks indicate that here is someone else living and has here its toilet. It is the dasyrat, another diurnal rodent of Namaqualand, which social system so far is not well known. However, there is indication that also the dasyrat might be social, living in small groups. But back to the striped mouse, where already the youngsters are playing in front of the nest in the morning. The relationship between adults and juveniles is very amicable in the striped mouse. In captivity, we can easily look inside the nest and see what's going on. Here, marked with black hair dye, is the father, and we see that the father takes good care of the offspring. He's grooming the juveniles, he's cleaning the juveniles, and he's huddling them. That means he's warming them under his belly. The father shows the same behavior pattern like the mother and to the same extent. In this experiment, the mother was removed from the tank for a short period and the father is busy retrieving his pups back into the nest. Hereby, he seems to be confused by the fact that there are two pups lying, but he can only transport one at a time. But after some time, he also solves this problem. In how far can we learn something from experiments under such artificial conditions in captivity that is of any relevance for the situation in the field? A very similar experiment was performed in the field with wild males, and it became evident that also wild males are willing to retrieve pups into their nest. For this experiment, pups of breeding pairs were used. Striped mice do not differentiate between own and strange pups as long as pups are younger than 10 days, the age when pups normally start leaving their nest. Thus, it was possible to trick wild males by presenting them pups from pairs that were kept in captivity. It even was possible to film inside natural nests of some mice groups. Here we see the breeding male, whose head is marked with black hair dye, in the middle of his group inside the nest. Also at another wild group, the breeding male, again marked with a black head, is busy in the nest grooming some juveniles. Thus, even in the field, do males participate in infant care. Around 7 o'clock in the afternoon, the mice withdraw into the safety of their nest where they will spend the night. A time-lapse recording shows us what's going on in the nest during the entire night. There's nearly always some activity, and even a slightest disturbance makes the mice fleeing out of the nest. After midnight it's getting somewhat quieter in the nest, and the mice sleep closely huddled together. They form a real ball of mice, and by this avoid too much heat loss. Sleeping such closely huddled together clearly must have some thermoregulatory benefits. Around 7 in the morning, the mice get active again in the nest and start to groom each other before they leave the nest together to spend the day in Namaqualand. Striped mouse does not only occur in Namaqualand but in most parts of southern Africa, and as such also here in the Kalahari. It seems that the striped mouse is also group living in the Kalahari, but detailed studies so far are missing. Striped mouse also occurs below the red dunes of the Namib Desert, and we know that it's also living here in groups. However, the striped mouse does not only occur in dry and semi-dry areas, but also in the moist grasslands of South Africa. The grasslands is a very different habitat compared to Namaqualand. It is very humid with a lot of rain in summer nearly every day. Thus, it's no surprise that also the flora and fauna here is very different.